Well, let's recap your lesson and what went well and what you guys talked about. Um, so, in the story that you guys went over as a class, what did you feel like went really well throughout that lesson? What did you feel like the kids connected with and engaged with during that process?
Okay, so first the story was very cute, I think, and
Yeah,
they really like it, especially the part where the animals are saying "not I." They were
right,
all saying the same "not I," said the dog, and so that part was very nice.
right.
But also, I think the part when we are talking a little bit about the culture, like
Yes,
it is not like we are talking, okay, this is culture, but
right,
they touch it and it's like, yeah, not only girls are in charge of doing all the things in the house and things like that, and some
right.
of them were kind of silly saying like, yes, they have to, but then when they were like, oh, and then do you want your mom to eat all the food, and they were like, oh, no.
Well, exactly. And it's so funny how that connected directly to the culture of Morocco in that women do so much. And so they were able to make that connection. When they were asking questions and having those sort of conversations with you, what do you feel like that was the strongest points that that they connected with other than the cultural part? Were they talking when we're talking about feelings? Because we talked about feelings in the previous book. When they were talking about the feelings of the characters, do you feel as though they understood the feelings of the characters and made those connections?
Yeah, for sure. And actually, at the beginning, we were talking about like make a prediction. What do you think is this book going to be about? And they were talking about like kind of some feelings that of the characters or personalities, like
Right,
maybe selfishness and things like that. And so it's like, okay, they understand that part. And
right,
yeah, in the previous book we were talking about some kind of feelings, like what happened at the beginning. He was feeling scared, and in this
right,
one it was kind of like that connection where they
right.
were talking about like, oh yeah, it is not good to let other people do everything, and you are just sleeping, and you are selfish, and you are just
Absolutely.
like, and of course the hen was feeling upset, but at the same
Right,
time she was happy because everyone wanted to eat it, but she
right,
was very like disappointed that they didn't help. So
right.
they were able to see and to talk about that connection between the.
Right, between the connection of the feelings.
Mhm.
And when you were talking about, in the beginning and the feelings, as you're transitioning through the book and you're identifying with the students beginning, middle, and end, and then had them go ahead and use what you had used with technology on the board, do you want to talk a little bit about how that connection happened with reading and writing being able to be integrated?
Yes. So the idea in writing, we are talking about beginning, middle, end,
Right,
and transition words like
right,
first, next, then, and last,
right,
and having like the words on the screen, like, okay, this is what it's supposed to be at the beginning, middle, end, and things like that on the screen for them was like, oh, now I don't need to start asking or ask everyone in the classroom like, what should I do here, what should I do here, but they were
right.
like, oh, I see it on the screen, I can go back to my paper and keep working on that. So
And understanding that those connections happen between the beginning, middle, and end, but
mhm,
also that it's clearly defined using those words. It's
mhm,
clearly defined to link them together, but that there is a distinct section in each part of the story. So I
mhm.
think that's really, really great. Did you feel as though using that as a tool, it did help guide them in the writing to be more independent?
Oh, definitely, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You found that once you checked the work after, they confidently said, "Oh, I connect with that. That's right." And there you go. It's amazing how that works. Now, if you were to look at this lesson again and do something differently, what do you feel like you might change in the future, or if anything?
um Sitting on the carpet.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, that's definitely something that I was kind of trying to keep in my classroom, but I
sure.
think my students are ready just to be on their desks
Okay,
and like pay attention better from there,
right.
because I think the carpet right now is like that moment for them to feel like, oh, this is playtime, or this is
Oh,
like more a relaxed time, and
right,
their attention is like not in what we are doing. And
right.
so yeah, that's definitely something I would change, like maybe doing, like do the reading maybe in another like maybe from their desk or
in a different type of setting or structure. And when you're doing that, you and I had talked in the past about how sometimes if I find, depending on the type of day or depending on the time of day, the kids can be a little bit different. And so with that in mind, it's a good idea to move them around the classroom and perhaps even choose a small group that you would pull to the table, run a quick rotation of some sort of stations where you have children in your regular library who are reading, and you have children who maybe are using the iPads with a reading program there, while you're pulling those other students and doing like a small group reading and rotating. And then those students who maybe didn't have a chance to have a conversation could definitely have that conversation with that time. So I'm thinking that with that in mind, you're doing a really great job. I'm really proud to see how your students are growing, and I think that that's going to continue in the future. And I really, really compliment you on a job well done. Really, very, very nicely done.